Being creative is a decision. You have to choose to develop skills. It's not like I was born with the ability to cook. I took time to learn and read and pursue it and taste things and mess stuff up and try it again and mess stuff up and try it again, because those are the moments where you learn. Those are the moments where the breakthroughs happen.
Hello, my creative friend. Welcome to the BDI Create Today podcast. This is a podcast where we'll discover the who, what, where, when, why, and how you can be creative or have more creativity. And together, we'll explore the extraordinary impact creativity can have in your life, in your heart, mind, body, and soul. And if we haven't met yet, I am Beth Buffington, a licensed artist, digital illustration instructor, and a creative coach living just outside of the windy city of Chicago, Illinois. But mostly, I am someone who is curious about how creativity can weave its way into our lives. Now, each week we're going to look at one or more of the sparkly facets that make up the ever-changing kaleidoscope that is creativity. Welcome back to another episode of Create Today with Beth Buffington. You know, I like to bring in interesting guests that are going to spark your curiosity and your interest in how you create today. And today I have someone that I cannot wait for you to meet. His name is Blackwell Smith, and he is the founder of Lucky Cajun Seasoning. It's a Chattanooga-based brand known for fresh ground small batch seasoning blends that are designed for real home cooking. And it is built around the idea that better flavors shouldn't require complicated recipes, which is going to be key for today. So Lucky Cajun helps you, the everyday cook, make bold, reliable meals with less effort. Welcome, Blackwell, to the Create Today podcast. I am so excited that you're here. Can you come to the microphone and tell our listeners a little bit about who you are, where you are, and a little background on how you started cooking creatively?
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Blackwell, and I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I first started cooking with my grandma when I was a little kid. She'd make little pieces of dough for me, and I would play with them. And I think that's where it started, obviously. But eventually I ended up going to high school in Baton Rouge, and I fell in love with the food of Louisiana. I ended up going to culinary school, did all the chefy things. Then eventually I made a cookbook and the seasonings, and here we are to talk about that.
Yeah. So I actually have your cookbook right here. And as you can see, I am a Post-it note queen. I made some notes on things that I want to try. This is the No BS Holiday Cookbook. But what I saw in here was that these are things I can play with and experiment with. And I loved how you brought those possibilities.
Okay, so here's how we approach the book. The book is like a set of instructions on techniques and how to approach things, so you can add in what you have and what you got. That way you can be creative in a way that works for you, as opposed to following a recipe and then trying to find ingredients, or you can't find it, or you can't find good ingredients. You can just use what you got and make great salad dressing. Like, everybody's got a favorite vinegar, right? Like, what's your favorite vinegar?
You know, it's usually whatever is in the pantry, but like apple cider vinegar.
Cider vinegar, you could use that. And then what kind of oils do you got? Like, what kind of?
Avocado, walnut, and some sort of canola thing, you know.
See, the walnut and apple cider.
Oh, and olive oil.
And that could be awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And you could build that with so everybody's got their own favorite things, and everybody has things in their cabinet. And so I just want to encourage people to use it instead of being stuck with this idea that a recipe is rigid, as opposed to being just a framework where you can do the things that make sense to you.
And that's what I loved about your cookbook. You don't have to go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of stuff that you're going to bring home and maybe not use up. You can take a lot of your recipes and go, what do I have in my cupboards now that I could make tonight? Or I've made this once, I'm going to make it again. How can I make it different?
Right. Yeah. That's how chefs think about food. They don't think of it as a fully composed like thing. Here is the whole dish. I imagine it like this. They go, well, I have a piece of chicken. I
Mhm.
have a stove. I have these spices, these other ingredients. How can I take those pieces with different understanding of techniques and knowledge and put them together in a way that makes sense? So that's what we're trying to teach here. It's not just a recipe. You build dishes with techniques. You build dishes with understanding how flavors work and experimenting and being well creative, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So what you're teaching in your cookbook is so easy to figure out. Swap this out or add this.
And it's low risk.
Yes.
It's low
Yeah.
risk. Like it's not going to have to spend a bunch of time, money, but you can actually get into the process of trying something new and learning from that experience of trying something new.
See, in my family, I'm not the greatest cook. My daughters cook better than I do. I have a son-in-law that can cook circles around me. And it just between my husband and I, he does 80% of the cooking. But I do probably 70% of the recipe reading and decision making about what we should be doing. And when I read your cookbook, it made sense. Even I
Okay.
could do this.
That's interesting. So do you think that's because they were more experimental? Do you think they're more experimental with food? Is that why they cook more? Why do you feel like they're better cooks?
I think, okay, I think there's two reasons. One, they just have this pull to cook. My youngest daughter, she's a registered dietitian. She's been fascinated with food since she's been
Okay.
tiny. She was 4 years old, pushing a chair up to the counter, making cookies.
Right?
And she could read, but she didn't understand the difference between capital T and little t. Like, is that what's a tablespoon? What's a teaspoon?
Right?
And she needed help getting things in and out of the oven. But other than that, she was making cookies when she was 4.
So
She wanted to cook. And there was a time in high school where every day she came home from school, she made pie. Every day she made pie. And that was just the way she released frustrations. She came home and made pie. And I ate a lot of pie.
so you're saying that she had a natural like she was attracted to it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
okay, she was attracted to the process of cooking. So she spent more time doing it then because she was
Yeah.
attracted to it.
Yeah.
And then she built the skill because she did it more.
Mhm.
So she's not really a better cook than you. She just did it more than you did. No one was born with it. Just like the sports, just like everything.
So I always joked that when I was raising my girls, I did all the sustenance cooking. No one died because they weren't fed. And then Tom did the grilling and the interesting casseroles and that kind of thing. But when I did something interesting in the kitchen, it was weird experiments like complimentary color dinner, where we would have orange food served on blue plates. So we would have carrots and oranges, and we would have macaroni and cheese, and it was all orange, and it was served on a blue plate.
On a blue plate.
Yeah.
Okay, this is all very interesting.
Here's what's happened in my head as I've gotten older.
Okay.
That I've realized that so much of my cooking when the girls were little was, I have to feed you something. You must eat 3 times a day. And so it became a chore.
I was going to say that. Right? It was like a chore. It was like a job as opposed to something that was enjoyable or creative, or because it sounds like your husband had fun cooking.
Because he didn't have to do it 3 times a day.
Because he didn't have to do it, but we all have to eat.
Yeah. So when I read your cookbook, the way you word your recipes and the encouragement you give to your reader makes you feel like I can do these things.
Yes. I'm a firm believer in that. This is why we made the book. You know, a lot of cookbooks are, is it for the chef to be like, look how awesome I am and look how amazing I am? Or is it for people who are reading it? Is it like, does it have value? Is it useful? Those were a lot of the filters I used when we were putting it together. We wanted to make sure that it was encouraging. And that was one of the reasons why we didn't put in the pictures, because they're going to try to compare their things to a fake image or me, whatever I made. And so, yes, you get stuck in those ruts. It sounds like you were stuck in a rut.
I was.
And so, like, how do you get out of the rut? You try new
Hmm.
things, right? You got to be adventurous. You got to, even if it's something simple, like you're saying, vinaigrette, but you could do it with anything. You put different seasoning on your chicken. You could try a different technique of cooking chicken. You could have a different sauce. You could make your own sauce because it's not as hard as everybody thinks. It's just we don't understand how to do it. We don't have the building blocks, the tools, understanding, or I guess the confidence to do it.
I think confidence is a big part of it, and busy families finding time to do something they think is going to be hard.
So there's the risk. So if you're spending time and energy doing this thing, whether you're practicing it or you're doing it for your family, there's this risk that they're not going to like it. There's like a legitimate possible negative result. It's so it feels safer to stay in your lane, even though the results of this chicken dish I have, everybody's tired of it. Everybody knows it's tired. We've done it every day for the past 8 years on Friday, right?
Yep.
But it's still happening. So you just have to decide that you're going to step out of that moment. It's a decision. It's like being creative is a decision. You have to choose to develop those skills. It's not like I was born with the ability to cook. I took time to learn and read and pursue it and taste things and mess stuff up and try it again and mess stuff up and try it again, because those are the moments where you learn. Those are the moments where the breakthroughs happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you go,
Mm-hmm.
hey, wow, this is better like this. But if I hadn't ever tried, I never would have figured that out.
Yeah. So tell us, Blackwell, everything you make as a chef, is it always perfect?
No, it's not, because there's always life happens, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be perfect. I think perfect is an illusion because
Yeah.
nothing is perfect. Perfection is just fake, it's not real.
Mm.
It goes back to comparing yourself to something that you're not. You're not going to be that professional chef. You're not going to be that professional athlete. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try. That doesn't mean you shouldn't develop skills. That doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy cooking in the kitchen, because it's a great joy. You're going to have to eat, so you might as well eat good food, and you can't go out to eat every day, so you might as well learn how to cook.
I love that. So what you say about cooking at home, there's so many reasons why cooking at home is a good idea. It saves
Yes.
money. You eat wiser. You're more aware of your portions, and your food is healthier because you don't know how food is prepared at a restaurant, but you can be mindful of how you're fixing your food at home.
Yes, you can. Lots of pre-made foods have tons of junk in them. Lots of
Mm.
sugar, excessive salt, fats that are not good for you. There's a lot of pre-made products at restaurants to make production easier, right? And so most really nice restaurants use good ingredients, but those cost hundreds of dollars to eat out at, right? For most people, that's not realistic. So cooking at home is going to give you a few different things. It's going to be healthier, right? You're going
Mhm.
to know what you're eating, right? So you're
Yeah.
going to eat better, because if you don't eat better, what's going to happen? You're going to have health problems.
Mhm.
So you'd rather make the investment in learning how to cook and eating well than make the investment of having health problems later.
Yeah.
If we know that, then creativity becomes like part of your health, right? Because you could,
Yes.
why not be happy, healthy, and creative?
Right. If you're creative in the kitchen, it's going to increase your energy. And if you increase your energy, you think more creatively. So it is, what did you call that when I spoke with you a while ago on that? A flywheel,
A
right?
flywheel.
Yeah.
You feed into things, and then it has leverage to do other things. And that goes back to techniques. Like if you learn how to make a vinaigrette, that's leverage to make 1,000 different salad dressings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 1,000 different salads. So you literally, and just by one skill, can create all these other options. So now let's think, if you stack more skills, you have more options. And then you building that flywheel, like this is more enjoyable. I like cooking. I feel more confident cooking good ingredients. You have more energy to do the creative things that you love and be a layer for yourself and all the other people in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really cool, like idea. It's a flywheel where it feeds everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, no pun intended, right? It feed.
I love that. Yeah. It feeds everything else. And if you're eating better because you're eating at home and you're using those whole foods, then you end up sleeping better. It's easier for you to exercise because your body has just been fueled correctly. And you get rid of things like protein bars and cereals that are packaged. And if you're eating whole foods, you're getting all of that goodness naturally, and it feeds your body so much better.
Here's what my dad says: stay out of the aisles at the
Yes.
grocery store. Don't go to the aisles. You stay in your vegetables and your meats, and you get some whole grains, and you're going to be fine. But if you start getting into the boxes,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you get in trouble. So if you buy boxes for your food, you probably need to learn how to cook. It's for your health.
A good way to figure out why you need to get out of the aisles is if you have pasta sauce that you've bought in a can or a jar and you look at the ingredients, one of the very beginning ingredients is sugar.
Right?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. And think about that. Would you sit down to a plate of spaghetti and take the sugar bowl and dump 3 tablespoons of sugar onto your spaghetti? No, you would not. You know, that you're just like, ew, no. But it is in there in the sauce that you are eating, and it doesn't necessarily
You don't need it. It's just it's a cheap flavor. It enhances flavor that's not there because they use cheap ingredients.
Mm-hmm. And it also ups your desire to have more sugar,
which is not that great for. We've learned that that's not good for us.
Mm-hmm.
We've learned that it's true. But here's the thing: canned tomatoes to make tomato sauce. That's how you should use them, but you just need like good tomatoes. So I'm not trying to like pitch a brand, but there's this brand called Cento tomatoes, and that's what I use to make my tomato sauce. And you just put in a little garlic, olive oil, saute those good tomatoes in, fresh basil, some salt and pepper, and you have like that's going to be the best tomato sauce you ever had. And there's no junk in it.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do. It's not like there's 40 ingredients in there. There's like 7, right? To make good tomato sauce. And I guess maybe people look at all the ingredients in the tomato sauce and then they go, well, I don't even know how to get this stuff. How am I going to make it? But that's not even really how you would make tomato sauce.
So many of those ingredients are making it shelf stable so that it can sit in your pantry for 11 years before you use it. I exaggerate, but seriously, weird stabilizers and preservatives.
If you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it. How about that?
That's a good rule to live by.
I think it is a great rule.
Yeah. So in this cookbook, your No BS holiday cookbook, which one is your favorite recipe? Do you have one?
I think it's the cranberry one because that's another one of those things that people go, well, I just get the cranberry sauce in a can.
Ew, yeah, no.
Yeah, so cranberry sauce is kind of one of those things where you have a couple times a year. So a little sugar in the bud, but you can build it up. Like I suggest to put mangoes in it and different types of spices and different types of fruit. And I think that just is fun because a lot of people think that cranberry sauce can also just be for turkey, but like you can mix it in with yogurt. You can mix it in, like put it on your sandwich spread. You can put it on other types of meat because you don't want to just have it and then throw it away. I mean, that's what a lot of people do. It's just use it for Thanksgiving and then it sits there for a week and then they're like, why is this still in here? Let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
Wasting stuff is not any fun either, especially if you put that time and love and effort into creating something. I think being able to use it again is fun. But I guess why I mentioned that one is because I love cranberry sauce. And I think it's such an easy way to be creative because it's like lending itself to big, bold flavors and it's easy.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about stuffed mushrooms with dill horseradish sauce. I was looking through this and I said to Tom, I don't know what Boudin is. What is
Boudin? Boudin is like it's like a pork rice sausage that they make in Louisiana that's really rich and savory. And so it pairs really great with mushrooms because they're like got a deep, earthy richness. And yeah, just shove them in there and roast them. It's pretty flavorful, but it is something that it's easier to buy that than it is to like make it, because there's some ingredients in it that people might be like, that's gross. But like when it's it uses like pork liver and you stew it, but the flavor is amazing mixed in with the rice.
Yeah, I think when you talk sausage, you don't want to know how the sausage is made. I think there's a reason why that's a saying.
It's a saying, right?
So go buy your sausage.
Well, right.
So make your stuffed mushrooms.
But the point is that the stuffed mushroom, you can put anything in it. You could put shrimp. You can put chicken. What if you put your meatloaf recipe in the stuffed mushrooms? I think people just get stuck in ideas and they get stuck in this way of thinking. There's a million other opportunities to do different things. We have to look at that mushroom differently. Instead of looking at it and go, I have to put Boudin in it. Yeah, because that's what the recipe said. That's what Blackwell said to do. And I don't like pork liver, so now I'm not going to stuff any mushrooms. Okay, so fair. You don't want to do that. But you can do anything. You can put anything in it.
Do you know what Tom and I do with mushrooms? Because I love stuffed mushrooms. We take portobello mushrooms and we make pizzas with them. So the mushroom is your pizza crust. And then you add your pizza sauce and you have your mozzarella cheese. And then however you want to decorate your pizza, like sausage or pepperoni, or just do vegetables. And
you can be really creative with that, because you can just add the things that you got or add the things that you like to your little stuffed mushroom.
Yeah, they are wonderful. And you can do them in the oven. You can do them on the grill. So we've had a lot of fun with that. And we have friends that come over that we have meat eaters, we have vegetarians, and it's super easy.
It works for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And something about melting cheese on anything makes me happy, right?
I think it makes everybody happy.
Yeah. So creativity in the kitchen, it's a thing, isn't it?
It is a thing. It's fun.
I think if you're thinking about being creative in the kitchen, it loosens up a lot of what you were calling the rigidity about you must follow the recipe just like this. And it allows you to go a little rogue, experiment a little bit, say, I don't like Boudin, so I'm going to do something else.
Do a different sausage.
Swap it out, right? It's your meal. It's your call.
This is what we're trying to encourage, is we're trying to encourage people to actually try things. We're trying to encourage people to try things that are interesting to them.
So for you, Blackwell, creativity in the kitchen has actually helped you build a little empire. I mean, you've got, right? I mean, you've got a cookbook now, and you've got seasonings because you weren't rigid.
Because I took the time to try things. So creativity in the kitchen, like for me, started with a little piece of dough. And then it grew into a love of Cajun food and learning how to make Cajun food. And then now I'm tried so many different flavors and spices. I got a spice company and I made a cookbook about how to try different things and how to be adventurous in the kitchen, because it's not about just following a recipe. It's about following what's interesting to you. And I think if you do that, then creativity can come naturally, as opposed to trying to force it, because you're recreating someone else's creativity. Is that like creativity? It's like, that's like, I'm going to take this book that I read and then rewrite it.
Yeah.
That's not really being creative. Now, it doesn't mean you can't take something from that book and use it in a different way to tell a different story, but you can take a base recipe and change it to what makes sense for you. And that is creativity.
So being creative in the kitchen isn't about making roses out of radishes. It's about how you're thinking. It's
about how you're approaching what you know and trying to do something new and different than what you had before.
Yeah. I talk all the time on the podcast about creative people. It doesn't mean you have to be an artist, because I hear that all the time. I'm no artist, so I'm not creative. Creativity, it can be in any place with anything. You can be an accountant and say, I'm not creative. I can't draw anything past a stick figure, but you might be so creative with spreadsheets that you come up with these great ideas with spreadsheets no one thought of, and you are creative. So in the kitchen, you don't have to be artistic with your food. creativity is in how you're thinking about making your next meal more fun. And it was a word you used, bring more joy into what you're eating.
Bring more joy into it. So in my life, the food part has been easy. Like creating these seasonings and doing this cookbook, all that was really easy. But for what's difficult for me is marketing. And trying to think about social media and how to like create videos. So I literally I understood the power of these tools like marketing and social media, but I didn't know how to use them because I never had to do that before. So I had to come up with different systems to help me create content.
You had to allow yourself to become uncomfortable with
I was uncomfortable
with things, right? Yeah.
I was definitely uncomfortable. Right. I had to mess up. I had to make a silly video.
Yeah.
So I was taking a risk because I had to become a different person to be able to like share this, my work. I had to approach everything differently. And so I'm definitely having to take those creative skills that I developed in cooking and apply them to other parts of the business in different ways.
To get the word out, you have to do that. Yes.
Yeah. Or I could be sitting here by myself looking at my seasoning and go, where's my orders?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, Blackwell sent me some of the seasonings and we used this one Tuesday night for dinner. We made blackened shrimp with Lucky Cajun seasoning and has some good heat to it. We had some fun. We had been to a restaurant a week ago and we had some blackened shrimp there with polenta. And we were like, this is so good. I wonder if we could make this at home. And then serendipitously, we get these seasonings in the mail from Blackwell. And one of them is this Cajun seasoning that reminded us of the blackened shrimp we had at the restaurant. So we just played around and used the seasoning. And you know what? What we ate was just as good or maybe better than what we had at the restaurant.
Well, awesome.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
Let's talk about this for a second. So you tried something at a restaurant.
Yep.
Now let's think about like shrimp and polenta. That's kind of like, seems like a play on like shrimp and grits because grits is like a traditional Southern thing and shrimp and grits is a Southern thing, but polenta is a different type of cornmeal that you cook differently, has a different kind of texture and taste. So that element right there is just taking that one thing that we already know exists. Yep. We're going, this corn, it probably tastes good with this other type of corn. We know that those are going to work together, but at the same time, it's still creative. It's still a moment, an opportunity to try something different. And now what you said, something else that was very interesting. You said, we're making a plan to see how we could try it. You got to be like prepared for the activity that you're about to get into.
Yes. Well, and knowing that, when you said plan, I mean, we did sit down and say, okay, what do we have? And we made a list of the things we didn't have. Polenta was one of them. I mean, we'd never cooked with polenta before. And we actually had that discussion. How is polenta different from grits? And we checked on that. Like, is it different? I think polenta is like a finer.
It's finer.
Right?
It's still corn. Right. It's a different version of the same thing.
Yes. Because I've had shrimp and grits. Love that too. But the polenta was like smoother, I think, a little bit creamier.
It definitely is creamier.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we'd never bought it before. So we went to the store where we knew we could find it. And now we have polenta in our cabinet and we're going to use it again because it was delicious.
And it's not that hard to cook.
It wasn't.
It's not. Right. So so people hear these foreign words and they go, well, polenta, that must be hard. Or that must be something I saw in this video that this chef was cooking. And so that must be like a weird ingredient. And I think it's not that weird.
No, we associate it with the same sort of skill as making rice, except you're using this fine grained corn.
Yeah. You got to kind of stir it though.
Stir it, you're soaking it. And yeah.
It's easy.
It was easy.
It's easy.
It was so delicious. And, it's just corn. So pretty healthy. So I love our discussion today. You don't have to go to culinary school to be a better cook in your kitchen. No. I hope that busy families are saying to themselves, I'm going to think about what I can do to liven up the food that I'm feeding my family or that I'm feeding myself, just to make life a little bit more fun, a little bit more joyful, a little bit more healthy. And that all happens by adding some creativity in the kitchen. And that doesn't mean you have to be an artist with what you're making. It just means that you have to allow yourself to experiment and have fun and try something you've never tried before and mix it up.
Or even allow yourself to mess up.
Yes, allow
Allow
yourself.
yourself that space, to give your space to like learn, but also understanding that learning comes from those accidents, and you're going, hey, I added too much salt this time. Next time is when you fix that. And then guess what's going to happen? Next time you cook it, you're going to go, I should have done this.
Yes.
So it's always going to evolve, and it's always going to become something more than it was before, because you're cooking like with intention. You're cooking.
It's like game on, Then you can think, well, this was good, but maybe instead of using a Lucky Cajun seasoning, I'm going to use the Greek out seasoning instead.
Yes, and take a different twist.
Yeah.
Well, and I think those things compound, and now you can build on top of those things, and the more options you have, the more creative you can get. Mm-hmm. And so it's not, at first it seems like cooking's so limited, but with more skills and more understanding and making more mistakes, it expands that creativity. So it's more than just the sum of its parts. It's like it's multiples of the parts.
Yeah. Yes. I always talk about how creativity compounds and makes your life better. And that is happening in the kitchen. The more you cook, the better cook you become, the more flavors you experiment with, the more interesting your food ends up being. And it just keeps compounding on itself. And you're going to learn how to cook healthier and enjoy these foods more because you're experimenting with flavors and spices that maybe you didn't grow up with or you've never tried before, but you just have a little more courage to do it.
I also think this silly old adage, like cook with love, it makes it taste better. It's so true. Yeah. Because if you're approaching the kitchen as like this, you said chore earlier, and it didn't sound like there was a lot of joy in that. And so were the results better from that time, or the results better from when you did the shrimp and polenta?
Shrimp and polenta, yes.
Was that, but was it, it wasn't necessarily the outcome that was better. It was the process that might have been better. That you enjoyed getting in there and going, how can I make this the best it can be and enjoyable from the beginning to the end? Not just, here we got to feed all the kids. Oh my gosh, it's Friday.
Yeah.
It's how you approached it that ended up with different results. It wasn't the fact that you were necessarily more skilled or more talented. You were just more open to the opportunities in front of you.
So everyone listening right now, are your recipes getting a little boring? Do you find yourself stuck in a rut? And if so, how can you pull yourself out of that rut and start a new path that might liven up what you're trying through some new spices or getting out of the aisles in the grocery store and trying more whole foods? Can you bring in your family so that you can cook together? Or can you tell your family, I need some private time so I can just practice with my cooking? Can you find something that you can do this next week that is going to make your cooking more creative? That is a challenge that I think we can all tackle. So Blackwell, tell us, I'm thinking a lot of us are listening are going, ooh, your cookbook sounds interesting. How do I find your spices? Can you tell everyone what you're doing and how we can find you online and follow you?
Okay, so I was talking about making content earlier, right? So that's really been my main focus recently. So on YouTube, there's Lucky Cajun Seasoning, and we have tutorials there. And there's also recipes for those tutorials on the website, theluckycajun.com. This cookbook might not be available right now, but it is going to be in the gift section because I don't have that many copies of it, but there's more coming. So just look out for that. And we're also doing a no seafood cookbook as well. And so it's going to be the evolution of this, because was the first book, and now the next book's going to be even better because I'm going to try those new ideas that I came up with.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So everyone in the show notes, look for these links. I will have them there. And definitely give yourself some time to experiment a little bit with Lucky Cajun Seasonings. There's a lot of fun stuff there. And if you're a little bit nervous about how to pull together a dinner, this is going to give you a leg up because it's spices already pulled together for you, making it easier. And yeah, go on YouTube and learn how to make some of these delicious recipes with some help from the chef himself.
Yes. Do
Yeah.
it. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fresh ground spices are just going to taste completely different than what you've probably ever had. You just got to try them. See what happens.
Yes. Well, everyone, how old are your spices in your cabinet right now?
Yeah. When were they made? So I don't like to get into like scientific stuff, but there's actually plenty of scientific proof that like fresh ground, any spice is going to have more flavor than the stuff that's been sitting there for like months and years.
Yeah.
Either on your shelf or on the store shelf, wherever it is, it's older than what you probably know.
Yeah, you don't know on the store shelf how long it's been there. And then when you bring it home and you only use a pinch of something and then you stick it back in the cupboard, and then pretty soon you're like, oh, do I have celery salt?
You might.
Yeah. You might. You probably bought it when you first married. When I moved into the house, I bought this mustard seed and you don't know how old it is. Yeah, maybe it's time to replace some of those. So you figure out why your food might be tasting bland.
When spices are whole, they actually hold their flavor for many years. It's once they get ground and those oils are released to oxygen and moisture, it's basically oxidation. They're slowly deteriorating and you're losing all those compounds. For example, everybody's had fresh ground black pepper before, right? So you know that it's got like that punch and it's just rich and you don't need that much of it. And a little bit goes a long way. Well, now imagine we did that with all the spices. And then we put them in a bag and we ship them off to wherever y'all are at. And it's just going to taste completely different. And so I don't think there's a comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh is better.
Fresh is best.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and I can tell you the spices we used from your Lucky Cajun seasoning. Oh my gosh. It was so good. Yes. So worth it. Totally worth it. So check it out, everyone. Go check out the show notes and you're going to be able to find a link that will take you to Lucky Cajun Seasonings. Give it a try. So Blackwell, thank you so much for coming and sharing your expertise and your permission to say, get into the kitchen and experiment and have some fun and don't be afraid to mess up because that's how you get better.
How you get better. Yeah. Give yourself time to learn how to do it. Don't expect that you're going to be able to do it like a professional chef or what those images are. Yeah. And give yourself permission to mess up because those are the only ways you get better. Yes.
So get out there, everyone, do some experimenting and have fun in your kitchen and go and try out some Lucky Cajun seasonings. I highly recommend them. But whatever you do, my friends, stay creative. Thanks so much. Come and see us again soon on Create Today. We'll talk to you later. Now, let's pause for a moment to talk about how you can join me personally to grow your creative wellness. Everything we have been talking about today is part of a much bigger conversation that I am deeply passionate about. And that is why the Silva experiences were created. Creative wellness isn't just about what happens in your studio. It is about how you sleep, how you move, how you rest, how you eat, how you stay connected with the world. It's a whole life practice. And that's exactly what you'll explore at any of the Silva experiences that I host with health coach Lisa Murphy. If you want a dedicated, immersive space where you'll explore deeply into your creative wellness, I'm inviting you to come and see me at the Silva Synergy Retreat this May in Atchison, Kansas. This is an in-person gathering with real people, real conversations about how to strengthen your health, your happiness, and your emotional resilience. Now, spots are genuinely limited. So if something in you is saying yes, don't wait to secure your spot. See the show notes for more information and registration. And if you're looking for ongoing community and accountability as you increase your creative wellness, Silva Sessions is our monthly online membership. So each month, you'll come together with Lisa and I to monitor your happiness and your well-being through focus on care for your core, your creativity, with a nurturing community who will encourage you every step of the way. And if today's conversation ignited a desire to be more nourished and more creatively alive, join me, please join me at either Silva Synergy this May or through the Silva Sessions membership each month. Both are a beautiful way to go deeper and discover more about you and your creative wellness. Information, my friend, is in the show notes, or you can go to my website at www.bdi-create.today.